Hi, this is Debbie from Organic Oasis in Zone 9B, Northern California. So today I'm going to show you my seed starting setup that I have. I thought maybe if you're like Tim and I, you're starting to think about one, either you have been growing a garden for quite some time and you're excited that we're entering into this time of year to start looking at seeds and planning what we're going to grow this coming spring season. Or you might be like Tim and I were a few years ago, where we had never grown seeds or any of our transplants from seeds. We purchased them from a market or from a like a Home Depot type store, and we were scared to try to start seeds. We had never done it before and we didn't know what to do. So you're going to be in one of those groups. And if you were like Tim and I, before we actually did it, it just seemed overwhelming. We watched videos, we watched how to do it, but there were just so many questions and so many steps that we were sort of intimidated. So we would just go down to the Home Depot or the Lowe's, or it used to be Orchard Supply, and we would just buy starts. And the problem with that is we either ended up buying just a few starts because the prices were, it's expensive, and we just couldn't justify spending hundreds of dollars on transplants. And we just couldn't find a plant with the plants that we really wanted or really desired. Like they only had certain ones, would bring them home and plant them, and they still didn't do well, or they might die. And then you've just, you're out the $4 or $5, or I think now it's up to $6 for some starts. So finally, probably I'm thinking Tim and I have only been doing our seed starts for probably about 5 years. We finally decided to start a small setup. If you've watched my videos before, I have talked about how we have just lived in this current house for 2 years. And before this, we lived in another house in the same city, but a totally different microclimate. We happened to have a house with a nice, huge window, southern exposure, and I set up some little shelving units, and I was able to put the seeds there, and start seeds. And for the most part, they were successful. Now, in this house, we we took our stations and we set them up in the garage, and we attempted to do our seedling starts in the garage. And what happens is it gets really hot. We're talking 100 degrees or more in the summer. And in the winter, it gets really, really, really cold. And so last year, we were actually able to start just about now in January. We started our spring seeds out in the garage, but we ended up having to get heat mats for every tier of our shelf. But with the lights and the heat mats, we managed to successfully start seedlings in the garage in the freezing winter. And we were able to transplant them out in the spring. And I would say we had a pretty successful year. I couldn't sprout all of the seeds I wanted to, but we were able to sprout tomato. Tim sprouted most of his tomatoes, and I was able to sprout maybe 50% of my peppers. And I direct seeded a lot of things that I wasn't able to actually start by seeds in the garage. This year, I decided for the first time to move one of my stands or my stations into the house, because we maintain a 68-degree temperature in our house at all times. We cool it in the summer and we heat it in the winter. So we have a very stable climate in our house. And I needed this. And one of the problems was our fall garden this year was pretty much a fail, because we didn't have anywhere to start the seeds, because the garage was way, way, way too hot at the end of the summer to start seedlings to plant in the fall. So all of my fall garden this year was direct seeded. And I'd say 50% of the seeds sprouted, and I have plants. I have some beets out there. I have celery and beets and arugula, and I have some mint, some chives. But basically, my cabbage never sprouted. Anyway, I didn't have a very good success rate self-starting seeds for fall. And I really needed my station set up, but the garage was just way too hot to do that. So I decided we're going to leave one shelving unit in the garage that Tomato Tim can put all his tomatoes on. And he'll probably be doing that soon, and we'll make a video. And that would be great for the spring starts that we need and transplants that we need for the springtime. But I wanted to put one in the house because I like to grow microgreens and I like to grow some house plants. I'm also into house plants. So I wanted some exotic house plants. I needed some grow lights for that. For my microgreens, I also like to grow some of the herbs and lettuces and things year round. And I needed a stable temperature for those. So what I want to show you here is how easy it is, though. Even though I was scared and I postponed getting this set up for years before we actually did it. Once I set it up and I took the time to put it all together, pretty much now, a year after year, it's just an easy, there's no more labor. It's not labor intensive anymore. It's just the original purchasing all the things, building it. But once you get it done, everything lasts. We haven't had to replace anything. So in this video, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to show you what I bought. I will link everything I purchased. I will put in the description with links to it so that you can see exactly how I did it, what I did, and then you can, if you are the person who would like to do it, but you're afraid to do it, you'll see that it is easy. It's possible. It's not that expensive at the beginning. And once you get it set up, you can grow pretty much year round in your house, and you can start your own seedlings and transplant them. So it's going to open up a whole nother world of growing vegetables, flowers, herbs, or even exotic houseplants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on some of these pieces here. I will show you step by step how I set this up and what I did. And then I'll take you outside to our grow station in the garage, and I'll show you that one. Okay. So let me zoom in a little bit so you can get a closer look. This shelf is pretty much, I think it's a 5-foot shelf here that we got. And we bought this at Home Depot, and it's just metal. You can adjust the shelves to any way that you want. You can buy this shelving unit. I think it comes in black or white, and you can get them in 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, and I believe you can get them wider or more narrow. Because I wanted this in my house, I didn't want a horrible eyesore. I went for the smaller one. It has 1, 2, 3 shelves. This would be the 4th shelf here. So we have 4 shelves on this one. Now, it's easy. It doesn't require any tools. It just has these little measuring, there's like little spots, like little, I don't know what I would call this, but there's like a rubber gasket thing that fits on it. So you can adjust it up and down, and then the shelving unit just slides onto that, and that's what locks it in place. If I wanted to take this off, I would just get a hammer and tap up, and I could remove the shelves, disassemble it, move it around, or do whatever. Right now, I'm able to move this without disassembling it, so I moved it from the garage into the house. What I did was, after I bought the shelf and I put it together, I went online and I researched grow lights. And I found these grow lights that I really like. They come like this. They're a tube light. It came with these little metal brackets, and they just clip. I just snapped them on here. And then I just zip tied these little grow lights, these brackets. I put the zip tie around the bracket. And I just basically, I'm able to attach these lights right to the top. So I wanted a very consistent light shining down on all of my seeds. So on the top shelf, I put 3. They fit perfectly, the width perfectly for this shelf. So I have 3 grow lights here on this level. So I have 3 grow lights right here on this top shelf. I have 3 grow lights fastened underneath this shelf. And on the very bottom, I have just 2 grow lights. So altogether on this shelf, I have 8 grow lights attached. So on the very bottom shelf, I can put plants here and they'll have 2 grow lights. I can put plants here. I have 3 grow lights. I could put plants here. I have 3 grow lights. And on the very top, what I did was I purchased, which I'll show you and link to it. I just purchased a stand-up light. It has an option on Amazon to either stand it up or it actually attaches with a screw, and you can change the it comes on like a flexible or rotating body, and you can adjust where you want the light to shine. And I just bought a different grow light to put in that. So if I need to use this top shelf, I have a different grow light that I can use up here. I have not had to replace these since I purchased them 3 years or 4 years ago. These lights have been going strong. They're really good. So as you can see, I have an outlet here, and I have one of these extension cords, and I have 2 timers that I hooked up, and it allows 2 of my grow lights to be plugged in here and 1 here. So I have all of these grow lights on a timer. So I have my shelf, I have my grow lights, and let me turn it on and I'll show you how I don't have plants on here right now, so I don't have the timer set up. I mean, it's plugged in and ready to go, but I'm not using it right now, so it's not on automatic time. I'm gonna turn this on so you can see. This is how bright it is. Now, for some people, this would not work out. It would be hard to find a location in your house with such a bright light. It might be hard to have this obviously in a bedroom, or you may not want it in your living room. I know when Tim and I watch TV, we like it kind of dark. But which actually, like I said, at my old house, I had a southern exposure window where the plants sat right in this one room. It was the dining room. And it worked out really good. Like, it blended in with the environment in the dining room. In this house, I was reluctant to put this in the house because we don't have as much space, and I just didn't want it to be an eyesore. But this is like this room right here is, I would call it a den. Right now it's my grandson, my 2-year-old grandson. It's kind of his playroom. It's where we hang out, and his toys are in here and stuff. And this is behind a door. So normally when I open this door up, it kind of hides the light. So see, this normally was going to be open like this. And this door, it's in a corner. This rack is in a corner. So when you walk in the room, this is to your back. So this isn't like this in the center of the room where it's going to be super noticeable. So you do want to find a location for it that it's not going to be a problem. Some people, they put this in a closet. However, they said it got pretty warm with the lights going and everything. Some people you can buy an upscale wooden cabinet that, to make it look really nice. There's all kinds of options. This is, I would call, the low budget way to do it. This is under $100 for sure. When I purchased it, it was probably less expensive, but I bet you right now when I link to this, it's still going to be very budget friendly. But anyway, this works really great. So what I did next was, again, this is in your house. We have carpet here. You don't want water. You're going to be watering the plants. You don't want a mess all over your floor. But what I found, again, we bought this at Home Depot. They're made to throw your muddy shoes on. You leave them out by your door, and people, you take off your dirty shoes and put them out there. But again, it fit perfectly here. So we got one for each shelf. And they come in different shapes and sizes. I just wanted the rectangle one, but it's completely plastic, waterproof. They've lasted for years. And I just put one on each shelf like this. And the second thing is, when you start your plants, your seedlings, you need to have them up about 2 inches from the top of the light. And when they sprout, you'll keep them at 2 inches, but as they grow, you slowly move them down. So what I did was I found at just the dollar store these racks. And again, they fit nicely in this tray. I just put them like this. And I got enough for each one to go on each tray. And I bought them in different sizes. So you can put these trays here. And then what I did, if you saved your boxes from the holidays, from Christmas, you can go, or even Amazon boxes, you can save those. And then what I do is I just put, a box, and then I put my trays up on top to adjust this. And then as they grow, you can take it down. So here are my microgreen trays. So as an example, this would probably be, it needs to be up closer. So I'm going to have to look for a box to put under here. And then as they grow, I would, either switch out the box, or eventually I might not need that at all. So you get the idea. This is, like I said, budget friendly, really easy to set it up, and I will link to everything. But let me take you outside and show you the other grow shelf in the garage. So excuse the lighting. I'm in my garage now, and as you can see, we have some windows in the garage, and the light is coming in because the sun is starting to set, and I'm getting a glare. But so hopefully the lighting isn't bothering you today. So anyway, I wanted to show you this shelf. This is the one I left in the garage. I decided not to bring this one in the house. The other one is shorter. It was shorter than me, a little wider. This one is taller than me, but it is actually two small shelves, put one on top of the other. So in our old house, I had two short ones sitting on either side of the dining table in front of a window. And when we came here, because of the space in the garage, we wanted two side by side. Well, now one is in the house, and that's where it's going to be. But this one actually comes apart, and it makes two short shelves. I don't know if you can see that. I'm lifting it up, but it just set it on top of here, and it stays. So what this gives me here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shelves, including the top. And these shelves are closer together. They're shorter. And because, like I said, your seeds need to be way up in the top anyway, this makes it a little easier to raise the seedlings when they start to sprout. Now, this is in the garage. I don't really care. Aesthetically, it doesn't have to be beautiful. What we did here is I bought these boxes. I was doing some dog scent work, and I bought these for scent work for my dog. But I'm no longer using these for that. So I've got these on each shelf just to raise the seedlings up. We have these heating mats, one on each tray. I don't plan to put heating mats in the house, but out here, because like I said, right now we're getting 35-degree temperatures in the night. So when we start our seeds in the next couple weeks, this would be really too cold for any seedlings to start, especially for Tim's tomatoes. So we have a heating mat on every single row on top of the boxes. And then what we started using is I just bought a whole bunch of these aluminum trays from Costco. And we basically put our seedlings in here. And then as you can see, it's nice and close to the light. Tim will be making a video on how he starts his tomatoes. He actually starts them in little cups. So they'll be right up to the top of the light. And I start my seedlings in, I use the little pods. So mine, again, I set them in these trays, and, they grow. It's about just as tall as this when they puff up and start to grow. And then my seedlings stick up here. So it makes the perfect height. Now this tray where I join these two together, there is no light under this shelf, but I have these here, again, from the dollar store. And I just use it as a place to put things. I have a humidity and temperature. This is AccuRite thermostat that I like to keep out here just so we know exactly how cold or hot the garage is. Again, every shelf is the same. We're just raising these up so that our seedlings will be close to the light. We have a heat mat. This is something new I will be starting this year. I purchased it and I absolutely saw this. Next Level Gardener was talking about this, and I had to buy it. I haven't even used them, but I plan to use them. When we travel, I have to hire someone to come in instead of taking care of our dogs, is to take care of our seedlings. So this is supposed to be a self-watering, takes the worry out of watering, leak-proof, reusable, dishwasher safe. So it's a seed starting 24 cells, but it takes care of, and it has a wicking mat. And because we travel sometimes when our seeds are growing, I thought it would be easier for me to leave the seeds. And I bought this to help take the little blocks. Once I start growing in here, this helps get the seeds out when you're ready to move them. So again, all of this entire rack has the same lights, except because it's a smaller rack, I have 2 grow lights here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So this shelving unit has 8. And I have one of these boot mud trays here just to keep extra things. I have my pods. These are the pods I use for my seed starting. They look like this. They're awesome. This is what I've been using. And here is the light I talked about inside that I purchased for if we want to use it, if we need to use a top for more plants or more seeds, because I don't have a grow light up here. I just bought this, and I'll link to this as well. This is a Luatext light. It comes with either an option to stand it up or clip it, and I bought a grow bulb for it. So I keep this here just in case. Occasionally, well, one year Tomato Tim and I decided to grow tomato plants to give as Christmas gifts to all our friends and family. And we had like 25 tomato plants growing in our house in December, November and December. So we definitely were using this light. So this is our grow setup for starting seeds. It helps us start seeds for spring planting. It helps us start seeds for fall planting. It helps me grow microgreens. It helps me grow some of my flowers. One of my orchids that I have likes to be near these grow lights. I like to grow herbs in the house sometimes, and I also like to grow lettuces and spinach in the house. I like to grow them outside too, but if you've watched my other videos, I'm squirmish when it comes to finding bugs in my lettuce, and so I've been attempting to grow lettuce in the house so that I can protect it and it's easier for me to use it and not have to worry about finding bugs in it. So I will link to everything. If you have any questions about anything, please ask. I'm happy to share. Tim's happy to share. We'll be doing another video probably in the next few weeks to month on actually starting our sprouts and using our grow lights. I will link all of these things and I will describe them so you can easily click on them and purchase them. We don't have a marketplace set up yet, so we're not making any money. It's just to help you. And you might find better options since, like I said, these are not new. This is an old setup. But just to give you an idea. And good luck and have fun with us. And growing is fun, but boy, starting seeds, that is a blast. It's so fun. And when you harden them off outside and then you plant them and you watch them grow and then you harvest your vegetables and fruit, it's just really a fun, healthy, exciting, enjoyable hobby or pastime. So thanks for watching this video.